Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another day of trading on this beautiful Wednesday. Markets are near the all-time high and we are ready to go. Good morning, Paul. Hey, Neil. VK. Good morning, Archer. Yeah, so Nasdaq was at an all-time high yesterday and it's gone to even a higher one overnight. ES still has a ways to go. But that would be the next logical place for the market to reach if we made it this far. Oh, I guess Nasdaq hasn't quite made it to a new high yet. Not quite. Very, very close though. Actually, we may be opening there. Yeah, so if the Nasdaq opens here, this will be an all-time high. Imagine that. Who would have thought when we were having those crazy tariff drops? That 2 months later would be at an all-time high. Trend-wise, it looks like this uptrend may be played out. Pretty vertical move up. Got a little break. Got a new high. Would expect the market to correct at first. Good morning, Yas. Hey, Roberta, Said. Good morning, Toad. Yeah, there's the opening bell. And since we were at these insane levels, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of activity today. Again, Nasdaq's opening at an all-time high. So we'll see if there's some follow through. There's NQ. All-time highs are actually a great place to buy because there is no long-term investors that are losing money. Everyone's happy. S&P looks like it wants to correct here. Good morning, gaming. Hey, Tick Trader. All right, I'm gonna mark out the previous all-time high on Nasdaq. I need to load some more data. It doesn't go back that far. So I'm loading data over there. Well, meanwhile, we'll watch the ES chart. We don't have any trends to go off of right now. All right, got the Nasdaq chart loaded. Let's mark out the previous all-time high. That's going to be a key level here. Should have been right here. This might be a little funky just because of the contract rollover and whatnot. But it'll give us a decent idea. I'll see, yeah. It's showing that it's above price right now. But I'm looking at a chart of QQQ and that's not true. So that's just some weird contract rollover stuff. Morning, Squid. Toad looking for that triple test. If we had a trend in play, I'd be down with that, but right now this move up already had a break and a new high, so I'm waiting for the correction. You certainly could take a triple test. It'd be much more of an aggressive setup because we've kind of just gone sideways here. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. Oh yeah, economic news. So we do have Powell testifying again at 10 a.m. and new home sales at 10 a.m. I would not expect either of those things to really make a huge difference. We saw yesterday Powell testifying. Market didn't do anything. Market did not care in the least. And that is because he hasn't really, he's not giving any new policy. He confirmed yesterday basically that, yeah, the Fed's still planning for a rate cut in the fall, not earlier than that. Well, that's already the plan. Like the market's known that for quite a bit now. So no new information there. That's already priced in. So, and I don't think he's going to change his tone today. There's really no reason to. So I don't think anything new or novel is going to come out, and that's kind of what the market's looking for right now. Still waiting for a possible correction on ES. We haven't got it yet. Bias is clearly up though, and NQ, it's got some strength to it. It keeps going up even while the S&P is chopping sideways. So very well could be the NQ has some sort of secondary channel like this. Be watching for that. If the S&P keeps going up, we will have to adjust to some sort of secondary channel there as well. I'm still going to be patient for that. I'm going to jump into that right away. Yeah, I'm really starting to like this channel on NQ. I will consider a long if this comes back. Gives us our setup at the EMA. Should look pretty good. If we don't see any aggressive selling within the first, 40 minutes, this is probably just going to be a slow drift. Good morning, Ed. Hey, Cricket. Hey, Tom. Forgot to say what's up to you guys. Nasdaq's starting to come down to the level that we're looking at. Hopefully we can get along there. Hey, Bill. Good morning. And ES not really correcting like we would expect it to. So again, if this goes up, we'll start to play secondary channel. Right now we're just chilling, waiting for it to develop. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button this morning. Support the channel. Tell the YouTube robot that this is good stuff. Help others discover our community here. As the market, it looks like it's making a new high. Still focusing our attention on the NQ. The setup's going to be looking much better from there so far. I'm going to start throwing this secondary channel on my chart on ES. I think that's what's going on. So now we're just waiting for a pullback. Absolutely no signs of sellers at all this morning. Yeah, Toad, that's a good way to put it. There's no sellers, but buyers aren't really doing anything. But if you do have one side that gives up, price will just keep drifting. All right, there's a little correction. We have a correction here that went below the EMA. Nasdaq still looks better. We're right at it. See if this holds. Oh, my bad, Toad. Did I call someone else Toad? Now that is a problem we've never had, is multiple Toads in the chat. We've had multiple Toms, but never multiple Toads. I think that's probably for the best. ES not really holding the moving average. I'm going to be deleting that secondary channel there. So a little bit of action from the sellers, actually. In Q also, getting a lot of activity from the sellers, so we're going to abandon that secondary channel. The market is showing us that that is not what's going on. Dumb Destroyer. That is quite the screen name. Do I reload historical data every day? Yes. And that's a good reminder. I have not done that today. So I'm going to do that. All right, that chart's still loading. I'm looking at NQ. I'd be willing to take a short here. All right, ES is all reloaded. So it should be good to go here. Watching what happens at the EMA. Again, I'd be totally down with a short if it sets up. Powell in 6 minutes. Thank you, Squid. Again, I don't think that Powell's really going to move the market here, but it's always important to at least be aware of what's happening. Yeah, Javi, that's true. There is new home sales. That might have a little bit more of an impact, but not really. I think my prediction here in 5 minutes is that we're going to get maybe a couple of candles like this, and then it's going to be back to normal. ES popping above the moving average. Doesn't look like the short's happening. There may have been a little overshoot on that channel. NQ also looks like it had an overshoot and headed back up. No real clean pattern yet to trade. Kind of looks like an overshoot on this move up too, on ES at least. Very vertical moves in both directions. Yeah, I'm treating this move up as an overshoot. Doesn't look like it on NQ though. NQ, this is pretty clean, stacked green candles. Ay, ay, ay. This looks really extreme on the S&P. NQ a lot more straightforward. This just looks like a one move up. We could even consider a long. We'll see if this overshoot on the S&P does anything. So new home sales are out. Quite a bit below what was projected. Like I said, guys, this is not likely to cause a reaction, and if you didn't know there was a news release right there, no one would have even known. Market not doing anything. Powell's going to be testifying. I would say it's very likely going to be the same for him. NQ not holding the EMA. This whole area is starting to look range-like. Pretty terrible structure to trade. Nothing is very clear yet. No one pattern is dominating. We just have to be patient and let the market develop. Back below the EMA. We're just getting V-shaped reversals now. Down, up, down. Oh, wow, Tom. Wow. Heard Jerome had a speech impediment when he was a kid, and his favorite toy was Power Wheels. That's top shelf stuff, my friend. V-shaped reversals on Nasdaq, on ES. We got nothing for us right now. I'm actually going to be drawing that range. I think that best describes our activity so far. That's how NQ is looking as well. Right in the middle of that little range too, so can't even take the failed breakout or anything. We don't really have any other economic news that could help us go anywhere. Unless Powell, who is speaking, says something really off the cuff. But that's not likely to happen. So far, the Nasdaq is still holding that all-time high. And it has basically two gaps up in a row. But the market doesn't look eager to go and fill those at all. Again, sellers just not showing up in the least.
Connection lost.
We just need to get the heck out of this range. Hanging out right here at the support of it on NQ. ES. Barcoding basically in the middle of it. Green, red, green, red. I'll just be patient here, guys. This is for sure donation zone.
Connection lost.
One of those days, VK. Yep. One of those days. I would consider a failed breakout. You know, clearly, so far sellers have not been able to do anything. We traded up into this range. So if we come down here and try to break out, but then get a really nice bullish hammer, I'd consider going long. Starting to look like wants to break out. Again, I will consider that failed breakout if it sets up. So we need a bullish hammer for that though. Need prices to dip below this, draw in the sellers, and then close really strong like that. If we get it, I will likely take a chance on that setup. Going a little bit too far down now for the failed breakout on ES. Starting to look like a legit breakdown. NQ still kind of, yeah, no, it closed pretty far down there. Tom, you're gonna catch a knife here. That sounds fun. I mean, if you're gonna catch a knife, that's a pretty decent bar to do it. I don't personally like how far it went down, so I'm not gonna fade this move. But if I were, that's a pretty enticing bar to do so. Archer, I'd agree, this is pretty ugly. If we get maybe a really nice higher low, I'd consider going long back into the range. Popping back up. If you took that failed breakout bar, you had to suffer. That nearly stopped out, but looks like it worked. And instantly rejected. Look at that bearish bar on that like breakout pullback. Starting to look like it wants to break down further. If we do continue to drop, we'll look at this wider channel, but so far the pattern has been no wider channels, lots of reversals. You see that a couple times, you expect that to continue. This would be a second entry short here. I think I might take this. If the bar can close around here somewhere. Basically a breakout pullback at that little range. We'll see how this bar closes. No, not looking good. Not looking good. Still has a chance though. We had one attempt down there. If we get a bearish bar like this, consider taking that. Find out right here what this range is made of. NQ also has a little second entry short going on. If this ends bearish, I'm gonna get in here too. I'm watching both indices. See how this bar finishes. Got in on ES. Watching this Nasdaq bar. See if it can close bearish. Come on, baby. Close on your low there, little fella. It's on the fence, but I'm going to give it a whirl on NQ. Second entry short, breakout pullback of that range. Pretty decent bearish bar. Just need to see it trigger. Okay, there we go. In on Nasdaq. Boom, already got a new low. See if we can get a little bit of follow through. Trailing my stop a little bit. I'm not willing to suffer through a pullback. Should have just taken profit right at that low with how whippy this market is. Yeah, I think we're going to scratch out of this. Yep, scratched out. Not willing to suffer through a big pullback. We had that low and did not follow through. Instead ended with a bullish hammer. So scratch out. There'll be other opportunities. ES2 scratched out of that, and right in time, we're getting a pretty big bounce here. Toad says I'm the third indicator. All right. I don't know how I feel about that, but thank you. It was a nice little scalp, actually. Yeah. I don't want to get into shoulda, woulda, couldas, because that's the trap, right? You get to that new low, it's probably a good time to take a quick little scalp, or at least trail the stop on a choppy day like today. Yes, looking like it's going back into the range here. We'll see if this move up develops into anything. So that whole sequence, guys, gives us a lot of information for what is likely to happen the rest of the day. That was the best looking move we had so far. You know, nice movement out of the range, pull back. It looked like this was holding. It looked like we might start developing a downtrend, and then boom, like 2 stacked green bars back into the range. So notice how that has happened several different times. Moves that start looking good, instantly reversed. This move starting looking good, instantly reversed. So it happens once, it's going to likely happen again. Expect that for the rest of the day. Moves that start to look good and then reverse on you. Kind of whipsaw range like action. That's the most likely result from today. So arm yourselves with that, prepare yourselves with that. As more time passes and we haven't had a move, the likelihood decreases exponentially. So I would just say range is most likely result for the day. Trade accordingly, size wise and target wise. I know for me, if I get into another trade today, I'm going to be taking quick profits, base hits, not looking for big follow through today. So yeah, that's how, an important piece of trading is reading what kind of day it is in the market and adjusting your trading plan, how you execute according to that. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Let's catch some of those setups on the Discord today. Got a nice one yesterday, nice little base hits. That's just how it's been. This last month is kind of a base hit kind of month, but that's how you make it in this thing, man. Sometimes you just gotta take base hits, and those home runs will line up eventually. But in the meantime, just make a little money in the process. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. See you over in the Discord. Have a great day. And we'll be live on YouTube tomorrow. Peace.